I'm Austin Heyman. Welcome to Seniors Today, a monthly program produced by the Commission on Aging and devoted entirely to issues and interests of Montgomery County seniors. This month we learn about an organization helping people deal with the hidden torment of chronic pain. And we explore a new trend in physical fitness called Zumba. But first, as the new year gets underway, the Maryland General Assembly begins its work. What are some issues that might impact Montgomery County seniors? Joining me to discuss these issues are Jack Sprague and Bob Tiller, co-chairs of the county's Commission on Aging's Public Policy Committee. Well, welcome to Seniors Today. Welcome back, Jack.
Thank you.
Well, you guys have been at these kind of things for a long time. Bob, how did you get into the interests of policy?
I've always had an interest in public policy my whole life, and I ended up in D.C. Working on federal legislation. I worked for several different nonprofits, including anti-hunger organization and an environmental organization. And my last job was at the National Council on Aging, where I worked on a range of public policy matters related to seniors.
And Jack, I know this is you're not a stranger to this world. Tell us, how you got into the lobbying world?
Unlike Bob, who's dealt in the federal sector, I've dealt, excuse me, exclusively on the state sector. I was for 35 years with IBM. The last 5 years, I was their lobbyist in Annapolis. And when I finished there, a number of companies asked me to help out. And then all of a sudden, I was on the Commission on Aging, and they asked me to help out on legislative issues. So,
and you both did last year. How did you find the 2011 session?
The 2011 legislative session in Annapolis was an interesting one for seniors, and the Commission on Aging was able to work with legislators to get three things passed that were important, that are important for seniors in the county. One is called Communities for a Lifetime, which establishes a comprehensive strategic state plan to facilitate seniors to age in their communities, and establishes criteria for how seniors should age and what the government can do to help them in the areas of health, transportation, housing, recreation, and so on. Another is called Medical Orders for Life-Sustaining Treatment, which enables the patients who have choices about end of life to formalize those things in a portable and enduring form that might be available to emergency personnel should someone need end-of-life things.
That's important. Yeah.
And a third one is to protect the privacy of seniors' information at senior centers. And so we're grateful for the legislature for passing all these, and we're glad that we could, as the Commission on Aging, have a role in getting those done.
So now we're looking forward to this new session, which is underway, and what are our goals for this one?
I'm really not looking forward to it.
You're not looking forward to it?
The budget situation
so bad,
is terrible, yes. The forecast is that they will start out $1 billion short.
Oh, wow.
The estimates of revenue and expenses are $1 billion different. They're going to have to find that $1 billion, and that means virtually every agency in the state will be cut. And that means that if we are going to get anything done for the aging community, we have to find things that won't cost any money.
Right.
And almost anything you want to do costs money. So we're working on one, for example, is a falls prevention bill that will do nothing more than call attention to the terrible, tragic cost of falls. $19 billion is estimated annually. And how many times have you and I known she fell, broke her hip, and she was dead 3 months later. So.
Yeah, no, it's very important. In fact, we had a falls prevention month this past fall, actually, and trying to educate people. So that is important.
Yeah, I think probably the biggest thing, and Bob and I have worked on it now for 3 years, is the financial abuse of seniors. And Bob has worked on that more than I have. You want to talk about that?
There are a lot of dimensions to financial abuse, and a lot of ways to try and cope with the problem and help seniors who might be abused and exploited, their assets taken. And one thing that we're hoping to do with the delegates and senators in Annapolis is to get legislation passed which will require banks and financial institutions to report suspected financial abuse to law enforcement or to adult protective services rather than allowing it to continue for a long time.
Now, how would that work, sir?
Well, if bank officials spot some pattern where somebody's assets appear to be getting depleted quickly, they would be required to report that, and the law enforcement officials or adult protective services could step in, freeze the assets, investigate, and find out what's going on. Very often, seniors are exploited by someone, perhaps a family member or a friend, who gets the senior to give them $1,000, $5,000 a month out of their account. And banks can spot this trend. This kind of legislation has been put in place successfully in a number of states, including California, where they found it very helpful. So the shorthand term is must report. And it's somewhat similar to other kinds of legislation that require physical abuse to be reported by professionals who spot it. And we're familiar with how successful that kind of thing has been. And to report financial abuse seems equally valuable to us.
You met with the legislators, the commission did this past fall. I guess you discussed that with them?
Yes, we had breakfast with them at the Holiday Park Senior Center. More than half of them showed up, and several of them said, one of them, Delegate Kramer, said he's going to put in a bill addressing what Bob has just talked about. Another one is going to put in a bill on falls prevention. We haven't seen the bill, so we can't talk much about it.
Right. Well, that's great.
In addition to the legislative dimension, I should say that many of the financial institutions are interested in this, and members of the Commission on Aging have been talking to people in the banks and other financial institutions to get their cooperation as well. But we think the must-report legislation is very valuable.
Are there other issues that you're interested in for this session?
Another one that the Commission on Aging is supportive of is the creation of a permanent absentee ballot list within the state, so that people who are unable to get out easily to vote on election day don't have to apply each time for an absentee ballot, but can have their names on a list to receive an absentee ballot for every election, and they remain permanently on that list.
That makes a lot of sense.
It makes a lot of sense. We're supportive of that legislation, and we hope that the legislature will pass it this year. It was introduced last year and didn't make it through, but we hope it will this year.
Well, that sounds like a pretty good, two very important things.
Well, half of the work we do down there is to watch. There are 2,500 bills that will be introduced.
Wow.
And we go through every one of them and make sure that they don't have an impact on the senior community. So a lot of times we're playing defense and not offense, and we don't know what's going to come up.
Well, and you mentioned the budget situation. That's also defense and what is going to be cut, and how do you protect the interests of our
We will probably be at the table testifying in support of the State Department of Aging budget, as we were last year. I don't know what impact it has,
Right.
Austin, but we've got to be there to help out.
So you're going to be commuting to Annapolis?
A day or two a week,
There,
yes.
right. And others on the commission may join you from time to time.
They have in the past, and they do a heck of a job.
Well, that's terrific. I think it's wonderful that you are able to spend the time, and we have such talented members of the commission to do that. So thank you very much for coming in today.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
When we come back, we'll learn about an organization helping people deal with chronic pain. So please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Have you ever parked illegally in a reserved accessible parking space?
And thought, what's the harm? I'm only going to be a minute.
We know how important it is to have reserved parking.
And the adjacent striped access aisles provide necessary space needed for assistance devices like my wheelchair and my service dog.
Respect the need for reserved parking and the laws that govern its use.
On behalf of everyone with accessible plates and placards,
We are asking you
to respect the space.
Bring your own reusable bag when you shop, and starting January 1st, you'll save 5 cents for every store bag you don't need. A new law requires retailers in Montgomery County to charge 5 cents for the plastic or paper bags they provide to customers, because plastic bags are the biggest single source of waterway litter. And every year, Montgomery County spends $3 million on cleanup. So do yourself and the environment a favor. Bring your reusable bag when you shop. You'll fight litter and keep the change.
Welcome back to Seniors Today. 116 million Americans suffer from chronic pain, often with no outer signs showing any distress. My next guest represents an organization providing information, support, and training to help those who suffer and their caregivers. She's Gwen Herman, the Executive Director and founder of Pain Connection. Well, welcome to Seniors Today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Well, how did you come about founding this organization?
I was in a car accident 16 years ago, and before that I had no idea what chronic pain was. And from that accident I developed pain in my neck. It went up into my jaw, my shoulders, and eventually throughout my body, where I have fibromyalgia, I have TMJ, migraines, irritable bowel, and chronic fatigue syndrome. Yeah.
Wow, you got
to name
everything.
a few. Yeah.
Wow.
And a thyroid problem. Yeah.
So that led you to explore, I guess, I think you told me before you were a trained social worker.
Yeah, I'm a trained social worker.
But that led you to sort of look into what besides the pills, huh?
Oh yeah, because at first I was given a lot of medication. I had terrible reactions to it. Had to go to the hospital. My body was covered in hives. Had excruciating headaches. I was comatose for a while, and I had 2 small children.
Wow.
So I needed to find other ways of how to deal with my pain.
So what are these other ways?
Massage therapy, acupuncture, bioenergy healing, guided imagery is what I really do a lot, which really helps me to change the thoughts in my head.
Tell me a little bit about guided imagery.
Guided imagery is when you just imagine being someplace and you use all your senses. So you imagine like being at the beach, and you smell the ocean, and you feel the waves.
And you can train yourself to do that.
And you train yourself. And there's all this research with the fMRI now where they actually see all the different parts of your brain, and they see the activity in the brain. So when you do guided imagery, it brings down and lowers your pain level and your stress level, and it makes the brain believe that you're actually there, and then it sends different signals to the brain.
Wow. Yeah. So you mentioned several things that you said. Is it meditation one of them?
Yeah, meditation, mindfulness meditation.
Wow.
Which they've done studies on Buddhist monks, and they say like 40 minutes of meditation a day really helps change the brain. And also there's gray matter in the brain, and they used to believe that with chronic pain that the gray matter actually died, but what they found out is that the gray matter just kind of shrinks. And with meditation, guided imagery, learning how to do Sudoku, crossword puzzles, it grows gray matter again.
Doing crossword puzzles?
Yeah, crossword puzzles are excellent, yeah.
So where do you have classes, or where does this go on?
Yeah, we have classes. We have an office in the Nonprofit Village in Rockville on Park Lawn Drive. We also have a speaker series at Holiday Park Senior Center.
Oh, great.
We have conference calls. That's a support group on the telephone, and we're national, so people call in from across the country.
Wow.
And we have a topic. We've written a book called Making the Invisible Visible, and we use a lot of the topics from the book on the conference calls. We have a live face-to-face support group in Virginia at a clinic. And we also train mental health professionals and medical professionals how to work with people in chronic pain.
Well, you're busy.
Yeah, very.
Are there others working with you on?
Yeah, we're all volunteer, and we're a nonprofit. And we have, different people who run the groups, help out on the phone calls, run the organization.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Holiday Park is one of the sites. Are there other places in Montgomery County where?
We used to meet at Margaret Schweinhaus Senior Center, but now we're at Holiday Park. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so do you have a website that people can get information about?
It's www.painconnection.org.
And do you have a phone number?
Yeah, 301-231-0008.
Okay. So these classes, is there a charge for the classes at Holiday Park?
No, those are free. The speaker series are free. The conference calls are free. You just pay for your own telephone, usage.
I see.
And the support groups are free.
Oh,
But we do charge for our mindfulness meditation classes, and we have an 8-week program called Filling the Gaps in Pain Care.
Filling the gaps?
Yeah, filling the gaps in pain care.
And,
yeah.
and where do you do that?
In Rockville, also at our office.
At your office?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
I see.
Yeah.
And what goes on in that filling the gaps?
Yeah, it's for people who have chronic pain, any type of chronic pain, and family members. And we first teach them about what happens to people when they have pain, the changes in the brain, neuroplasticity. We teach them about the different messages and the pain signals. Then we teach about how to change their thoughts, because a lot of times when you have chronic pain, all you can think about is, I hurt, I can't do this, I can't do that, and you feel resentful, you feel angry.
Right.
So all those feelings create more pain and more stress on the body, which makes it worse. So the whole thing is to retrain the brain to see your life in a different way.
Wow.
So instead of seeing that you can't, you look at what you're able to do.
So this is once a week for 8 weeks?
Yeah, once a week for 8 weeks. Yeah, and then also in that class we bring in speakers. We have a doctor come in, a nutritionist, herbalist, an acupuncturist, a massage therapist, and neurofeedback and biofeedback instructor.
And there's a charge. Where's the charge for that?
It's around $250, but we just got a scholarship. So if people can't afford that, then we'll be giving scholarships out to people.
Right. And you mentioned these support groups. Where are the support groups? Are they at your office or?
Right now we have one in Virginia, which is in McLean, face-to-face. We used to have more in Montgomery County, but we lost some funding, so we weren't able to do that. So the conference calls are the way of picking that up, and this way we're able to reach more people.
And how often are these conference calls?
Yeah, the conference calls are twice a month. It's the first Thursday of the month from 1:30 to 2:30, and then the second Thursday from 7 to 8 p.m. And it's an hour call, so there'll be 45 minutes on a topic of how to deal with your pain, and then the last 15 minutes is guided imagery meditation.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's free, you said?
And it's free, and it's great for people that are housebound, can't get out of their house, or they don't have transportation, or they're in rural areas where there aren't any, pain programs there. Yeah.
Have you found there's a lot of interest in this?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Are there other groups that do this kind of work?
I work for the American Pain Foundation, and they advocate for people in chronic pain, and they have an action network where they have different leaders in many of the states. So I'm one of the leaders in Maryland, and we advocate for people in chronic pain. I mean, if you there's Fibromyalgia Association, there's Chronic Fatigue Association, so they have their groups also. Arthritis Foundation.
Right.
Yeah.
And do you work with the medical profession too?
Yeah, we work with the medical profession, even though it's hard, because
they want to give pills.
Well, yeah, and I think a lot of times doctors believe that the support groups are just a place to go and complain, but in our groups we don't do that. It's like a higher functioning, and our groups are run by people who are mental health professionals.
Right.
And so we talk about ways of coping. We don't talk about doctors. We don't talk about medications. We talk about different ways of how to change your life. Yeah.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
Well, gee, thank you very much for coming in and
you're
sharing
welcome.
a really very important topic for all of us.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah.
When we return, we'll conclude today's show with a look at a new craze spicing up the fitness lives of some seniors. So please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Did you know there are more than 10,000 county government phone numbers? Now there is only one number you need to remember for non-emergency calls, 311. MC311 is Montgomery County government's new online and telephone information system. Need information? Have a problem or complaint? Trying to locate a county government facility? Call 311. The call center is open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. The website is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Remember, call 311 to get it done.
Welcome back to Seniors Today. Going to the gym or an exercise class is not always the most exciting endeavor. Well, there's something new happening that could just make working out a lot more fun. And joining me to tell us more is Carolyn Ferranti, the Director of Creative Fitness, and Deborah Brandt, a participant. Well, welcome to Seniors Today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, we're going to talk about Zumba in a minute, but tell me, how did you get into this world?
Well,
Zumba.
My background is in theater, and so I worked in the theater for a number of years, and my background is from Northwestern University, and I studied modern dance with Lynn Blum. And then I went into HR, kind of took a little turn into HR, and then back into teaching. So I've come full circle with kind of fitness and fine art instruction.
And where did Zumba come into this?
Well, Zumba, I met Zumba when I was trying to kind of lose my last 20 pounds after my son. And I just fell in love with it.
And what is Zumba?
Zumba is dance fitness. It's exercise in disguise, right? You don't feel like you're exercising.
Not at all.
It's like you're out with the girls and the boys, and you're out having fun. It's merengue, it's salsa,
just moving and shaking.
It's dance.
And you're doing it.
I'm loving it.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm doing it.
And how did you get into the Zumba world?
Well, my doctor recommended that I do some more aerobic exercise, and I looked into it and liked what I saw and loved the class.
Where do you do this?
In Gaithersburg at the Rec Center.
At the Rec Center.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more. I think we're going to show some of us, but,
okay.
but tell us a little bit more what this Zumba involves.
Well, Zumba was started by Beto Perez in Colombia, and he brought it to Miami in 2001. Zumba is merengue, salsa, reggaeton. It's the music of the clubs. And Beto was a certified instructor in another kind of fitness, and he forgot all of his official music one day, and so he brought his club music from his car into his classes and found that his participants loved that 10 times better. So that's how Zumba was born.
And then there's something called Zumba Gold. What's the difference?
Yeah, Zumba Gold is designed specifically for baby boomers, anybody 50 and up, but it's also appropriate for anyone who's just new to fitness. Maybe the Zumba that you see on infomercials is pretty high impact. It can be a little scary, if you're looking at that and thinking, can I do that? Zumba Gold is specifically for 50 plus or anyone that just wants a little entree into Zumba.
So tell us a little bit about what happens. I mean, it does something to you, I gather.
Oh, it certainly
it's
does.
Healthy. Well,
it gets into your soul.
Gets
what
into
it
your
does.
soul.
It does. It's mind, body, and soul fitness.
It is. You forget you're exercising, and that's where there's even a cognitive connection with dance. Fitness is wonderful for our cognitive fitness, but dance even more so because there's more room for problem solving. You have this great music going. There's a little bit of open space in Zumba, so we do have some choreography, but then there's a little bit of room for interpretation. And that's where you're with your community, you're dancing with your friends, and that's where the brain just starts to buzz.
And you do it at your own level, so it's not like you're pressured to do it one way or another. You do it what works for you, and that's the beauty of it.
Yeah. So you mentioned you do it at the Gaithersburg.
In Gaithersburg, yes.
Where in the county is Zumba offered? Zumba Gold offered?
Well, it's offered a lot of places.
Oh, really?
I teach at Holiday Park Senior Center 5 times a week. Also Holy Cross Senior Source in Silver Spring, and Victoria Falls out in Laurel. But you could go to Zumba.com, just put in your zip code, and then look for, and you'll just put the type of class you're looking for, put Zumba Gold or Zumba Gold Toning, which is gold with weights.
Okay.
So you can look for either of those and just find out what's close to you.
And why would you want to do with weights?
Weights gives you the added benefit of reduced bone loss, improved mobility, balance, even reversing the curvature of the spine, I've heard from my participants. So it gives you a little added benefit.
I do both.
You do both?
I do both, yeah.
At Gaithersburg?
At Gaithersburg, yeah.
And how often do you do this, actually?
Well, I do twice a week, and I do aerobics twice a week there also. So
you're really
4 days.
In great shape.
Well, I'm trying.
So do you recommend that people go more than once a week, or?
That's a great question. I think once a week is a good place to start. I think wherever you are, you can start there with Zumba. I have participants that sit in chairs, and they just do the upper body portion of the dance, and you can even pull your chair up right onto the dance floor and dance with everyone else. Certainly if someone needs to take a break, they're welcome to just go sit down, take a little breather, and come back. But then once you get up to a full workout, it's great to add that second workout.
You say do it in a chair, but you can't move your feet.
That's what you just do the upper body. So like a little reggaeton, right? Or we promised we weren't going to dance too much out here, but yeah, you can dance in the chair, just using the upper body.
And Do you have is there a website that you have? Or
I do. I mean, you can go to Zumba.com, certainly.
mentioned that.
But I'm also on Facebook. Creative Fitness LLC is my company, and you don't have to be on Facebook to have access to that. You can just look
Creative
for
Fitness.
Creative Fitness LLC.
Okay.
And if you message me, I'll be certain. I'd love to get back to people and just let them know what would be a good class in their area.
Do you have a phone number that you want to?
Sure, 301-758-7447 would be a great
That's
number.
great.
Yeah.
Now, is there a charge for the classes at Holiday Park?
There is, and if you have the HIPSI card, it's a reduced rate.
The HIPSI?
The Holiday Park Senior, like if you
Oh,
join,
oh,
if you
join,
get the
yeah,
membership,
right,
it goes
right,
down.
right.
But I believe without the card, it's about $3 a class, but it's less than that if you're a member.
I see. Well, that sounds very reasonable.
Definitely.
Do you have to have a doctor's approval to do this? Because it sounds could be vigorous. I don't know.
It can be vigorous. I mean, and as we've said before, you can pace it to whatever your ability is and whatever your level is that day. I think it's certainly a great idea to do so.
It's not required.
It's not required at Holiday Park. I think others have mentioned perhaps at Holy Cross it is required. If you want to come and check it out, and you're certainly welcome, Austin, we'd love to see you there.
Right.
The first Thursday of every month at 1:15 at Holiday Park is just a free as a Zumba party. It's free for anyone who's in the classes. If you're not in the classes, it's just $3 at the door. You can just come and dance, check it out, see how you like it.
And what is it about? You said 40. Is it 45 minutes or?
It's a full hour.
Oh, it's a full hour.
A full hour.
Wow.
Yeah, we do about 10 minutes warm up, 10 minutes cool down, and then we really bump it up in the middle.
Wow.
Yeah.
Literally.
And you do this twice a week.
I do, and I love it. I love it.
Have you recruited your friends to do this?
Well, I'm working on them. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just scheduling for some people.
Yeah.
And some people are afraid. They're like, how can I do this? Zumba looks a little
formidable.
Like, exactly. It's like, can I do that? You can. Absolutely.
Yeah, because I watched you on the website, and it seemed pretty busy.
Listen to the music. I always say, when in doubt, wiggle and smile.
That's true.
And then you're
and
good.
the music is Latin music.
It is, primarily. I do some Bollywood as well, belly dance.
Oh,
Bollywood.
Bollywood.
So yeah, some Indian music and belly dance. So we mix up a lot of different genres.
Right. And belly dance. How many do you have men in this class?
Absolutely. Yeah, not too many, but at Holiday Park we often will have 2 or 3 in any class of about 30 people. And
And the age range is, you said 50 over.
Well, gosh, I have 20-year-olds in my Zumba Gold classes because they're people that are just new to fitness and maybe don't feel as confident to join a full high-impact Zumba class. And then my oldest participant is 98.
98?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Salvatore, the man can tango. He really can. And then I have participants anywhere in between. And some sit in the chair, some take breaks, some don't. Some just are always pushing me, we need to go harder and faster.
So the ones in the chair are the same class, they sit in the chair?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a great class.
So we need to spread the faith.
We do, we do. It's wonderful.
The cost sounds pretty modest.
Excellent. Yes, it is. It is.
The time demand is less than about an hour.
It's an hour. Yeah.
And once a week would even do it.
Yeah.
And you'll just get buzzed for the rest of the day.
You're energized.
Right?
I feel energized the rest of the day. I love to start my day off with it.
Sounds great. Well, thanks for coming in. And,
thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you.
And we showed some of what you did.
Uh-oh.
Don't forget that you can access a great deal of information about county services for seniors by going to the Montgomery County Senior website at www.montgomerycountymd.gov/seniors or call the Senior Resource Line at 240-777-3000. And as always, thank you for watching Seniors Today.